Hello, I'm Dwayne Butcher, an artist living and working in Memphis, Tennessee, and this is my painting that is in the current present tense exhibition here at the Dixon Museum. This piece and other pieces that I make are about my life that wittily comment on my life as being a citizen of the American South, and usually deal with gender identity and social issues. But with this painting here in particular, it's about the value of art, the commodity of art, and the kind of work that I make. This, maybe conceptual pieces, these conceptual paintings. And then with Memphis, there is more of a, maybe traditional conservative art market, at least for people who buy paintings. And so when I'm working on pieces, like, well, how can I make money? How can I sell these pieces? And if I made landscapes, then I'd be really, really rich because everybody would buy my landscapes. But I don't know how to paint landscapes, and so this would be my example of the landscape and how that happens. So, I'm originally from DeWitt, Arkansas. My mom moved over here when I was 12, so in 1990-91, we moved to North Memphis in the Raleigh community. Went to high school at Craigmont High School. Then when I graduated, I went to the University of Memphis. It took me 6 years to get through undergrad. Went to art school at the University of Memphis. Graduated in 2001, and then in 2007, January 2007, I enrolled at the Memphis College of Art in their graduate program. And so all my education, for the most part, has come from the city school system in Memphis, the public university, and the private art school. So I blame them for everything that happened to me. I never thought about being an artist in high school. It was never a thing that was an option for me. I didn't know that as an option existed. And I was a history major, as a freshman in college. And then I took an art class because I had, a lot of time period on like a Tuesday and Thursday between classes. And a friend of mine told me that, hey, you take this art class, it's an easy A. You don't have to do anything but draw pine cones all day long. And so I took this class because, it was an easy A. So it was a drawing class. I took the drawing class and I made an A. So I kind of liked it. And then the next semester I had the same time period that was open. So I took a sculpture class, a Sculpture 1 class. Professor Cooley Maya was the teacher. And so the first day of school, he went through the whole history of sculpture. And then when I saw this piece from Donald Judd, a 1991 untitled stack piece, it just, blew my mind on how incredible that piece was, that someone would make an object out of industrial materials that looked like this, that people would consider this art, that people would make, artwork that looked like this. Coming from a very rural place in Arkansas and then in North Memphis, there wasn't a lot of access to cultural activities or cultural events. I didn't seek out that information, but that information wasn't readily available either. And so it was, kind of interesting, kind of opened my eyes to the world, if you will, of like the possibilities and how art could be one of those possibilities. And so I decided that day to change my major to be an artist, and all because of that Donald Judd piece. And even now, almost 20 years later or whatever, the work is still influenced heavily from that 60s and 70s minimalism that came out of that time period.
I'm N.J. Woods, and I want to talk about this painting here because it's me as a child. There were so many of us. I have so many cousins. I have like 8 siblings, and we'd wait till the afternoon or the evening, and we'd go out and play and chase fireflies. That's what this is all about. And we'd have our little jars, and whoever caught the most fireflies was the winner. And we'd put the little fireflies in the jars and put them under the bed at night and wake up in the mornings, and all the fireflies were dead, and we couldn't understand why they died. We didn't poke holes in the top of the lid. But as a kid, I watched my father paint. I must have been maybe, 2, 3 years old, and I wanted to do it so badly. But all I can remember is him pushing me away from it, just gently pushing me back. But I wanted to paint so bad. And so when I got into school, I got a chance to kind of exercise my little artistic talent there, and they would always call me out of the class for art projects for the school, and I would do like little posters for the neighborhood, and paint little things for different teachers and classrooms, and I felt so good. I always wanted to be an artist, and I felt like I would one day be one. So, never had any formal training. Everything that I learned from my father. And this is what I do. And I absolutely love it. I paint all the time. And I can go to the art stores, and when I see these empty canvases, I just get so excited. And I would go in and buy like 3 at a time, because if I bought more, I would just paint myself to death. So that's just how much I love it. I was born and raised right here in Memphis. Grew up in a little community called Orange Mound. Went to Melrose High School, graduated in '69. And I don't know, this doesn't look very rural, but we were like country people in the city. So this is where a lot of this comes from. This is why all my paintings are like rural, and I go visit my grandmother in the country. And I love that, because going to see her, we had so much space. We just run around barefoot for days. And I just loved. I look forward to going over to Grandma Sarah's house. And I just wish she was here now to see some of this.
Hi, I'm Kat Pena. I've also gone by Kat Blackwell Pena. I first came to Memphis in 2006 to go to graduate school at Memphis College of Art. And I came from Santa Fe, New Mexico. My piece here at the Dixon is at the southeast side of the back lawn, so you'll have to come out of the museum and find it, but it'll be well worth your travels. And when you come to the end of the pathway, you'll find my piece, which is titled How Will You Treat Me? And this piece is a little bit about how we treat our planet, and relate more specifically to how we care for potted plants or a tree. And so I ask you to think about your relationship to our planet by becoming a caretaker for a small sapling. So when you get to my piece, you'll meander through a pathway, and you'll come up to some trees that have some phrases on it that start to help begin that conversation between you and our planet. You'll find this wonderful little greenhouse. How Will You Treat Me is somewhat typical of the work that I make. Almost all of my work has something to do with an environmental topic in some sense, but the format in which the artwork takes changes from piece to piece. There tends to be an aesthetic that my work kind of follows. It's very minimal and clean lines. Some text, I'm starting to use text, but mostly it has to do with the theme of environmental art or environmental issues in some sense. The first time that I saw myself as an artist was when I was really, really young, probably when I was in the 3rd grade, and I would draw doodles of leaves with eyes in them. And one of my music teachers thought that they were really amazing, and so she framed them for me and gave them to me at a recital. And at that moment, I kind of realized that the interest that I had personally could be something much more than just me scribbling away in a sketchbook.